want to thank you once again for joining me on today's journey towards resilience. I mentioned before, I'm trying to shorten the preamble to the opening statement in each episode, but this is the 8:20 urgency meeting for the day. This, I want you to consider it as your open journal, your open ledger, your blockchain of resilience. Something that cannot be corrupted, cannot be duplicated, and it's open, accessible to you and to who you love without a password or without any requirements. The key thing about this is when I mentioned to you these observations and communicating to you my experiences towards resilience each day, each moment, it's meant to give you an example, not necessarily any answer. Because if you noticed in the previous podcast, I really raised more questions than answers. But in doing that, my philosophy, I guess my commitment to you is to change your life with each episode. Maybe that's way too ambitious from this person that you don't know and probably never heard of and may never hear of again. However, I can guarantee you that listening to these podcasts, each one of them, will change your perspective on this very present moment. If you get a chance to get a little more detail on how I do that, or if you have opinions, feedback, or comment, please jump over to my website, 820podcast.com, and leave a comment there. No need to leave any money, although if you're inclined to, please do. But no need to leave any money. But definitely more valuable to me is your comment, your observations, and how you communicate, how you do what you do towards this common goal that I see as resilience. Today's topic is called the want and need of pleasure. The want and the need of pleasure. I'm going to start with this, the want part for pleasure. Simply, it's easy to do. You get immediate gratification of what you want as far as pleasure, be it in food, people, partnerships, hookups, link-ups, money. You want that pleasure to get it like right now. The need part is a different viewpoint. The need part should resonate with your purpose and your message and your presence to produce in this moment. Do you see the difference there? The want for pleasure and the need for pleasure? I ask that question, again, more questions, but the questions always keep developing into, for example, what does it feel like? The difference between wanting pleasure and needing pleasure. What does it sound like when you want pleasure, getting it right away, and the pursuit and the need for pleasure? How does it taste? Get your mind out of the gutter there. But even given that, using it at the top level before we get into the nitty-gritty, dirty details, what it might taste like, just think about what does it taste like when you are trying to reconcile in your head the difference between wanting pleasure and needing pleasure. So what about, or what is your pleasure that you are wanting or needing? Let's start with that. Does what you do, meaning what you observe and communicate, does that align with your defined purpose, message, presence? And the key point, what you produce each day, each moment. Does that wanting or needing of pleasure resonate there? Just consider that for a few moments while I get into my definition of pleasure. And I'm going to get into me defining my pleasure, not because it's good and safe and happy or it's sexy time, because it pleases you in rhythm with your heart, in concert with the absolute essential initial inspiration of you, the insistence for you to even be here. So whether that pleasure, that concept of pleasure, is whispered to you or yelled at you, filter and observe what is the difference between that random thought that you just let go of, or the thought and the observation of that thought that does resonate with your core spiritual being, meaning for me, your heart. Then, if this is even possible, again, I know the jury's out on that, but if it is possible to do that, you can know the proper decision and movement to make, whether it is a want for pleasure or an absolute need for pleasure. And again, it feeds back into how you have defined what your pleasure is. And when I say that, not to make it an academic exercise, but to put some structure, as I've done in the book and in these podcast episodes, a structure or references for you to agree with, deny, reject, take bits and pieces and build your own, or totally discard it and come up with your own. That is the main intention of these conversations. And I know it's one way because I am only recording it, publishing it, and you may be downloading it and listening to it at your leisure. I hope you listen to it in concert with your pleasure. See, I'm backing in again into what I was trying to say earlier about it's important for you to define what your pleasure is. I gave you a quick snippet or look at how I would think about pleasure. And then next level down in the context, is it a need or a want for me? And to me, it might sound a little elementary or maybe even a bit silly from those of you who are well-lettered and well-educated in psychology or physiology or the spiritual realm out there that you've written tomes about for decades. I know I'm new to even offering my little shingle out here on this thing called resilience, and even further, that I believe it as common to all of us. All we need to do is bring it out of each other and share it with each other. But if it's possible, when I talk about bringing out, defining and distilling the need from the want, to me it has to be true, original, genuine, sincere, humble, and confident in that approach. And also to step away from the herd mentality. What everyone does must be the way. Maybe it's not for everyone to do it. What makes it true for you is what you do that resonates with your heart. Thank you once again. Let's continue down the path together, enjoying and sharing. Until then, stay present, stay current. Remember, it's always 820.